collapse at the University of Idaho fraternity house that sent 4 people to the hospital. Now U of I's Phi Kappa Tau chapter is in some hot water for building the platform. Abby Davis, with our sister station, spoke with a student who was at the party on Saturday about the moments leading up to the collapse.
Saturday night didn't turn out like University of Idaho Junior Anna East Erb planned.
It was just really chaotic all at once because no one was really expecting it to happen.
What happened? A raised platform collapsed, injuring 4 people. It was built by U of I Phi Kappa Tau fraternity members.
It's like an every year tradition that they have.
Here's what they built in 2017.
You can climb up using a structure they build kind of to climb up onto it. It's like a little lookout area, basically. I think people just kept climbing up when everyone was trying to get them to come down, and it was just at max capacity.
And people were trying to get them down because they recognized that there were too many people on there.
Because I went up there because I thought, I wanted to see what it looked like. It looked fun, and they immediately kicked me off. And then once that happened, 5 minutes after, it fell down, and they were still trying to get people down.
And that was fraternity brothers trying to regulate the situation.
Probably just trying to have some risk management.
Moscow Volunteer Fire Chief Brian Nickerson says the platform that collapsed was 6 or 7 feet tall. First responders arrived at the scene around 11:30 p.m. Erb says at least 30 people were standing on the platform when it collapsed. Some people were underneath.
The men in the fraternity were trying to get everyone who wasn't injured or wasn't involved in it at all to leave property immediately and get out of the situation so no one else got hurt, and to get to the people who were injured.
Nickerson told KTVB first responders took the 4 injured people to Gritman Medical Center. One person was later flown to another hospital nearby because of severe injuries. University administration say they are, quote, working with the injured students' parents and are trying to better understand the situation. I also reached out to U of I's Interfraternity Council and the Phi Kappa Tau fraternity, but did not hear back. As a community herself, Erb says she's hoping for better risk management in the future.
When someone tells you something, it's probably for your safety, not because they're not trying to make you have fun, That's definitely a lesson for a lot of people, I think, is making sure there are those extra safety steps and just having them in place. And
University of Idaho in the headlines tonight, this time from Greek Row. Saturday night, a structure built by Phi Kappa Tau fraternity members collapsed, injuring 4 students. According to Moscow Fire, 2 life-flighted to area hospitals. Tonight, new information on the investigation into that collapse. Good evening, I'm Sean Housley. Our North Idaho reporter, John Webb, spoke to a student who was there when it happened and saw it all go down.
Yeah, good evening, Sean. According to Moscow Fire Chief Brian Nickerson, 2 women were severely injured and life-flighted to Kootenai Health and St. Joseph's in Lewiston after that horrific accident that happened at Phi Kappa Tau behind me. We contacted the hospitals today for an update on their condition, but they have yet to get back to us.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of screams, right as it went down. Just people, it was I don't know about the people underneath, but people around just screamed because it started coming down. They just got scared.
Nate Rice, a second year at the University of Idaho, was at Phi Kappa Tau. When the structure built out of logs collapsed.
We just heard a loud cracking noise, and next thing you know, we look over and the whole loft that they had built was falling down on top of people, and there's people on top of it.
Rice said fraternity members immediately rushed to where the incident happened and called 911. Ambulance crews responded and took 4 to Gritman Medical Center in Moscow. According to a UI Phi Kappa Tau alum, they build a fort made out of logs every year. You can see on your screen what that looks like. It's an annual tradition that has been going on for years. Chief Nickerson says that about 15 to 20 people were on top of the fort when it collapsed, tumbling down on top of several other people. Rice said those 4 weren't the only ones that were injured in the incident.
It did come down a little bit and hit him on top of the head, and he was having like a headache. We were worried like maybe a concussion for a little bit.
But Rice says he's doing better now. The University of Idaho sent us this statement today. It reads in part, quote, "The university is aware of the collapse of a temporary structure at the private property of Phi Kappa Tau. We are providing support to the injured students and their families, as well as the Greek chapters and other students involved." After Saturday's collapse, Rice hopes that Phi Kappa Tau will discontinue building the fort.
I don't think that'd be a good idea at all to keep doing, especially after what happened. Like, it seemed like maybe a good idea, and it's been okay in the past, but after something like that, I don't think it would be good at all to continue it.
And it's unclear if the Idaho Fraternity Council will be taking any measures against Phi Kappa Tau. I did reach out to the Moscow police captain, Mark Brantle, today, and he said at this point they're not pressing charges against the fraternity.